businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Going to hand out some bets here. Will Dalton, I bet UConn, I bet Michigan. Picking both of those teams on Friday, and then I even bet a parlay for both of them to win. So your boy's doing pretty well. I'm probably going to splurge not on another banner, not going to steal any more banners, not interested in doing that. Instead, I'm going to try to maybe splurge, grab myself a pullover of some sorts. That's probably going to be the move.
Yeah, I mean, I think one banner's enough.
Yeah.
You got plenty. Got some good stuff.
We do. So we will have ourselves a nice time the remainder of our trip here at the Final Four in Indianapolis. However, and wherever you're listening or watching, greatly appreciate that. We're on YouTube, Westwood One Sports Night, and on stream at Josh Graham Show on X. You can find us. That's how you can watch us in addition to listening to us. As a reminder, we've been here since Thursday, we being quite a team at Westwood One Sports. It's been Brad Evans with BetMGM tonight, and Chris Black and Adam Abdallah from Adam and Abdallah. Black and Abdallah. That'd be quite a show. Adam and Abdallah. Fantastic stuff there. They were outstanding. We had a great time with them. We did our night show from here on Thursday and Friday, and during the day, Saturday and Sunday. Thanks to John Mallory for pinch hitting. Johnny Ballgame, as he's called, on Saturday. And tomorrow night, Linnell Willingham is going to be live tomorrow night, and I'll be jumping on with him, hopefully courtside, after a champion is crowned. So a lot of programming to come that's outstanding from Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indianapolis. Something we haven't really touched on, at least to this point. You want to talk about demolitions, Will Dalton. How about UCLA 59, South Carolina 30, approaching the end of the third quarter? And the part that's nuts about it, it's not the Lauren Bett show. I mean, she has her normal 5 of 8, 11 rebounds. Yeah, she's doing her thing that we're used to seeing, but it's 3 other starters that are in double digits, making 4 of the 5. And the exception, Kiki Rice, has 10 to her credit, along with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. It's just a tremendous team effort that we're seeing from UCLA, and this is why they were 36-1 going into this game, looking to win the national championship. We didn't get the UCLA-UConn matchup that we had circled at the beginning of the tournament, but South Carolina beating UConn obviously had its fair amount of stories coming out of that. Want to give a shout-out to Ryan Ratke and Debbie Antonelli, who are on the call, our teammates at Westwood One Sports. It doesn't get as good as the play-by-play teams we have at the Final Four in Phoenix in that national championship game right now, and also here in Indianapolis. Kevin Kugler, Robbie Hummel, PJ Carlissimo, just saw those guys out at the stadium in Indy at Lucas Oil Stadium. Moving this thing along, Will Dalton, 2 incredibly scorching hot tournament takes. It might be the 2 hottest tournament takes you hear all tournament long. And it's next on the Josh Graham Show.
Westwood One! We are live from the Final Four in Indianapolis, bringing you exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes practice insight, and the headlines shaping college basketball's biggest stage. From your official home of the NCAA tournament, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
You tell me what the hotter of these two takes are. Both are related to this weekend as we are live in Indianapolis, the Final Four, the national championship. One shining moment is Mid. It's a completely overrated song. Or, under no circumstances can you consider Indiana to be the hoop state, because instead, that's the state of North Carolina. What are we even talking about? What's the hotter of the two takes? 310-840-4910. See, usually we'd give out that phone number and expect there'd be some debate or disagreement on that front. But I don't even know if anyone's going to disagree with either of these takes. Maybe it's not that hot at all. That One Shining Moment's mid. It's overrated. It's not actually a good song. Nobody listens to it except for once a year, and that's evidence of it. Jennifer Hudson covered it in 2010. She's one of the best singers we have, and everybody hated it so much they forced it to be changed back. And that's evidence that the song actually sucks. If you think Jennifer Hudson's the problem, no, it's just you're blinded by nostalgia, and nostalgia can cloud your judgment. That's what it is. So 310-840-4910. I just have a feeling if I open up the phone lines and say North Carolina's the hoop state, Indiana certainly isn't, and One Shining Moment's mid, it's only going to be phone calls with people saying, checks out, thumbs up, you've nailed it. You nailed it. No notes. Right, Will?
No. That's
What?
the hot take.
You're
saying the
disagreeing
song
with
sucks.
any of this? Oh, One Shining
Yeah.
Moment. Okay. Just checking.
That is the hottest of takes. Of
No, I
course
just-
Jennifer Hudson's version didn't slap. Because that's not the version. It's the original that's the version.
Actually, Will, this is the part where we need to recognize that if it happened before you were born, you probably don't know it exists. The Luther Vandross version has only been playing since 2003. So they started playing the song in 1987. I think Teddy Pendergrass was the artist that first introduced it. That one might have had a guitar solo on it and the whole thing. It's different. And again, oh, no, we need to have it. It's been there forever. No, it's been there for 23 years. It's only been 23 years. And the larger point, Will, is that you need to recognize why this song is what it is. Why this song, people feel the way they do about it. It's not because it's a good song. It's like when people say a certain type of TV or a certain era of sports or a certain kind of music period of time. Oh, it was so much better when they were younger. Yeah, everything's great when you're 12. We know. But because the song's been there for 39 years, you've had generations always say, that's the best. That's the best. And it's not because of the song. The truth is the basketball highlights make the show. You could have The Sound of Silence by Paul Simon be the song, and people would be like, you know what? Can't wait for the part where they say, rather than the ball is tipped, hello, darkness, my old friend. Can't wait.
No chance.
Just super psyched about it. Oh, it really ties the whole postseason together. I mean, again, it's the highlight package that's great. We love the tournament so much. We don't love One Shining Moment. Nobody's bumping One Shining Moment outside of the first Monday of April. Nobody. Anywhere.
You might be surprised about that.
Nobody anywhere is saying, you know what, we need to fire up One Shining Moment. Hey, baby, let's set the mood. Let's just turn one Shining Moment on. Really get things popping. That's what we need to do. I mean, what is the setting?
Wild?
Tell me the setting that you'd be saying, you know what I need right now? Some One Shining Moment by Luther Vandross, other than on a highlight package for the first Monday of April after the tournament ends.
I don't know. I could see that song being played at like a cookout or something.
Never.
Good vibes.
Never. If you're at the cookout and you play One Shining Moment, you're immediately uninvited to the cookout.
No, I think people are really going to enjoy that. Be like, oh, he gets it. He's playing the song.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No chance. I can't do it. And there's so much great music that's come out in the last 40 years. We could do something else. Like if it was In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins or like even something like a little bit more jingly guitar-y like Good Riddance by Green Day. You can do something else. I mean, those songs, they're great outside of the singular context. One Shining Moments, Bah!
You love college basketball as
do.
much as anybody I know.
I do.
I will never understand your vendetta against this song. I will never understand it.
Okay, it's not a vendetta. Let's start there.
Are you sure?
It's not a vendetta. You know what the worst thing about being a college basketball fan is? Like a diehard college basketball fan. People assuming I like One Shining Moment. There's nothing worse than that.
You should.
There's nothing. Like, what's the worst
That's
part
like your
about loving
theme
college
song.
basketball? Oh, you must really love Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross is fine, by the way. This isn't a vendetta against Luther Vandross. I just think we could do better with the song. We can freshen things up. It's okay. It's fine. It's okay to freshen things up. Don't need to be so defensive about it, Will. You might be the only person that disagrees with that, though. I think most people are like,
I
yeah,
don't
Josh.
think so.
Go off, King. 310-840-4910 if you want in on the program. This segment, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com. I just punched my microphone really strongly there. That's on me. So, the Hoop State front, you don't seem to push back on. That's not surprising because you're in Greensboro, North Carolina. But for those who may not be in the know, when you land in Indianapolis, when you land in the airport here, there is signage that says, in 49 states, it's just basketball. But in Indiana, it's something else completely. It's ball is life here in Indiana. Ball is better. Nobody loves basketball more than Indiana does. Thus, some might conflate that with Indiana being the best place for basketball. That Indiana is basketball state USA. No. That would be the state of North Carolina. By whatever metric you care to look at, North Carolina is a much stronger hoop state than Indiana. I'm expecting, given how loud I am, where I currently reside, in downtown Indianapolis, that my internet is going to cut out, that my phone, like the technology required to do this show, is just going to cut out in the middle of this segment because somebody in Indiana is going to want to sabotage this whole deal. But, okay, let's just do this level by level. The state of North Carolina has better grassroots basketball. Right now, there are 11 or 12 Indiana-born NBA players. North Carolina has twice that. You want to go historically? Have you heard of a man called Michael Jordan? He's from North Carolina. Indiana can't top it, shouldn't try. The state of North Carolina obviously has better basketball on the college front. Indiana, the Hoosiers, have not made the tournament in 3 years. They haven't made a Final Four since 2002. Thank goodness you have Purdue, which made it to the Final Four in 2024, but that gets negated when the year before you lost to a 16 seed. Only 2 teams have done that. How crazy is this? The state of North Carolina has 5 Final Four appearances this decade, and they've come from 3 different programs: North Carolina, Duke, and NC State. This century, North Carolina has won 6 national championships. Indiana, 0. It just means more in North Carolina. We put out North Carolina coaching search clips, and they get much more engagement than teams that are currently playing in the Final Four are getting. Much bigger stage. And Duke, who doesn't want to? Just posted my exchange with Cameron Boozer earlier today. Will Dalton, that clip has been up for exactly 4 hours. Not even. Take a guess how many views. Guess.
I'll say maybe 5,000.
5,000 views. 186,000 views.
Not bad.
So I'd venture to say that Duke moves the needle a little bit. And, again, Don't forget about NC State and the Will Wade episode. Don't know if that's really helping my argument, though. You want to go into this, the NBA? Hey, the state of North Carolina has a better NBA team than the Pacers. The Hornets have a top 5 record in the NBA since January 1st. They've sold out a dozen or so straight home games. They've become a big story. People are wanting to talk to me about the Hornets more than I want to talk about the Hornets. And I live in North Carolina.
This is true.
The Pacers have the worst record in the sport. They're getting fined for tanking. Please. 310-840-4910. Do we have Chuck here? Are we going to Chuck? Love this. Our friend from Fox Sports, 310-840-4910. Chuck, you're on Westwood One Sports Night, or on the Josh Graham Show, Westwood One Sports. What is your thought on One Shiny Moment?
Well, as I just said to Justin, super cool. Let me also say, I love what you guys are doing.
Thanks.
I used to do this myself with the #1 rated national show in the country. I'm retired. And I love what you guys are doing. And there always comes a time for new people, new stuff. And when I heard the Luther Vandross thing, I was like, this is great. I have to call because it's not the original March Madness song.
Can I take a guess where you're going? Because I believe you're right. Because 87 was when you had Luther Vandross. And me being a college basketball nerd and also somebody who's thought for a long time we need to move on from the Luther Vandross song, like there are people who believe that this has just been around forever. Like, was it Loggins from the guy who did Caddyshack, who had something back in the day?
It is Kenny Loggins, and it's 1979, Larry Bird, Indiana State against Michigan State and Magic Johnson.
Yes.
Just to let you know how much of a geek I am like you. The other two teams were DePaul and the University of Pennsylvania Quakers from the Ivy League. Also, Josh, last year they ever did the consolation game where you played the two teams that lost. Penn played DePaul to see who came in third, kind of like the bronze medal.
Okay, I'm going to
You nailed it. You nailed it. It's Kenny Loggins. This is it. When you play that, you get fired up. Let me tell you the people that said
hold 1 second, real quick, Chuck, real quick. Justin, see if real quickly you can find This Is It, Kenny Loggins, if it's out there, if we can find, because I've seen it talked about, and I think I've seen the montage that you're describing. And yes, Kenny Loggins, it doesn't get better than that. This is it. What else do you have, Chuck?
No, that's the guys who are calling for that song to come back and be the theme. No less than Michael Jordan, Barkley, Bird, Magic, Patrick Ewing. That is, and I agree with you on the Phil Collins because pumps you up. The Cavaliers on their championship run in 2016 used to play it. But This Is It. It's such a great song. Give it a listen. I wonder if you guys could play a little bit of it for the audience. But
we'll find it.
Well done, young man.
Thank you, Chuck. It's so good to hear from you. I really appreciate that a great deal. We'll see if we can find some of the Kenny Loggins. This is what we call a tease in the biz. We'll see. In addition to handing out my bets for the national championship game tomorrow night, we'll see if we can find somewhere Kenny Loggins, This Is It. Also, Will Dalton just texted me a Pete Thamel report. I have not seen what the Pete Thamel report is, but I've seen Pete Thamel about 3 or 4 times working on something. I don't even know what this is regarding. We'll find out together. Next.
The national championship game is set. UConn, Michigan. Tomorrow night, coverage starts at 7 Eastern. Game tips at 8:30. Listen on the Westwood One Sports app. From your home of the NCAA tournament, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
this is it. Little bit of that from the NCAA tournament pre-One Shining Moment. Getting a ton of texts from folks saying, we remember this, and yes, this is it, Kenny Loggins, awesome. And it's further evidence. We can change things up a little bit. It's fine. A little bit of change is okay. It's not going to hurt anybody, and One Shining Moment's mid. 310-840-4910 if you want in. Pete Thamel has just reported Dusty May has informed Michigan officials he's not pursuing any college basketball jobs. Jeff Borzello also on this report for ESPN. May had been an initial target at North Carolina, but that never materialized because of Michigan advancing in the NCAA tournament. It's Billy Donovan or bust for North Carolina. North Carolina fans are going to pretend when they hire Mark Byington at Vanderbilt, when they explore the Ben McCollum route at Iowa, Josh, you don't know what you're talking about. Josh, these coaches can coach laps around Hubert Davis. 3 weeks ago, when North Carolina's firing Hubert Davis, if you were to tell a Tar Heel fan, or if you were to ask them, would you prefer to fire Hubert Davis and disconnect from 65 plus years of lineage dating back to Dean Smith, the Carolina family, and all of that, if it meant the coach you were going to get was Vanderbilt's coach who's never been to the second round of the tournament, second weekend of the tournament, or a first-year Iowa coach that, granted, went to the Elite Eight, but prior to doing that, not much of a track record. And you might say, well, Josh, Ben McCollum, great coach, went to the Elite Eight. If only North Carolina had access to a coach that could advance to the Elite Eight, heck, even further, in his first year as a head coach, in his first year on the job. Where could they ever find a coach like that who in his first year, maybe, you know what would make it even greater? If that coach went to North Carolina. You know what would make it even greater? That coach as a worthy candidate? What if that coach also won in Coach K's last game at Cameron, extinguishing Duke, North Carolina's greatest rival, and ended his career in the Final Four? You might think, well, that's unrealistic. You can't find a coach who could do that in his first year. If that coach would be unhireable. Obviously, it was Hubert Davis who did that. Oh, so much has changed. So much has happened. But that's what you say in response to Ben McCollum went to the Elite Eight. Yeah, it's 1 year in at Iowa. If you want to go off the 1 year sample, I mean, Hubert Davis was a number one seed in the tournament just 2 years ago. Went to the national championship game. So if you want to salvage something here, it's Billy Donovan or bust. He's the last name on their first list of candidates that they can realistically land. Because Brad Stevens turned them down right away. Tommy Lloyd, Dusty May, they're out. That leaves Billy Donovan on the list of serious candidates. Beyond Billy, there aren't other obtainable names that can move the needle. Because it's not just the Carolina job coming open. It's the departing from 65 years of Carolina family and Dean Smith. If you're not from here, if you're not from North Carolina, that might not resonate with you. But it's a real thing. To hire again, a coach that's never been to the second weekend, some would think that's not worth it. Many would think rightly that's not worth it. Billy Donovan's name, it would resonate enough to make moving off of Hubert worth it. He's a 2-time national championship winning coach. He's a respected NBA coach. But, Will Dalton, you are the emotionally attached Tar Heel fan here. If this list goes beyond Billy Donovan, is there a name they can hire realistically that would make you think, good job, team. Good job. This was all worth it?
Maybe Kelvin Sampson, but he's not in
You
the
want to
mix.
hire a 70-year-old? I guess
I
they
like
just did
Kelvin
in. I
Sampson.
guess they just did in football.
Yeah, make it match. It needs to be Billy Donovan. I mean, I agree with everything you just said. Because if you fire Hubert Davis and you go through all this rigmarole, you would think you were.
Rigmarole.
You like that?
Nice.
You would think you would go big game hunting here and you would land somebody like that, but you're running out of options. So, Chicago Bulls finish up the season and Billy Donovan, come on down. It better be.
Rigmarole. Rigmarole refers to a long, complicated, and often unnecessary or annoying procedure, process, or story.
Nailed
Excellent use of the word rigmarole. Rigmarole.
it.
Can say it properly. Excellent. 310-840-4910. I was walking around to various insiders and coaches, in some cases ADs at the Final Four yesterday, Will, just running this name by everybody I could see to see what their reaction is. And every reaction I got was the exact same. No. It's not going to happen. No. And for the life of me, I don't understand. Why isn't Baylor Scott Drew in any way in the mix?
I don't know. We mentioned him like at the top.
Every
when
time
this
I bring
first
his
started.
name up, they're like, no. Either because North Carolina or either because he's viewed as not adapting well to the revenue sharing era or because he's happy and will turn them down the same way he turned down Kentucky 2 years ago. And again, that's fine if that's the case, but you just got shut down by Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd and Brad Stevens, and you might get shut down by Billy Donovan. Worst you could do is ask, why isn't his name mentioned? Because here's where I fall. If your goal is to do something splashy, Will, you want a national championship coach? Has Scott Drew won?
I did it very recently. 21.
Do you remember who he beat?
Wasn't that UCLA?
No.
Or was
It's
it
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
Mm-hmm.
UCLA was the Final Four.
Now
Against
remind me,
Gonzaga.
who was the top choice for North Carolina in this search?
I mean, for us, it was Brad Stevens.
Sure. Who was the guy you wanted most?
Tommy Lloyd.
Oh. You mean the same Tommy Lloyd that was the top assistant for Gonzaga when Scott Drew beat him in the national championship game?
Yeah.
That
Guy.
Mm-hmm. But, just we'll be interested to see what names might surface that didn't before. Like, would Florida's Todd Golden at least come up? Is this when Nate Oates gets brought up? I don't know. You can watch the show in addition to listening to it, as David is, who writes in, Josh at the Econo Lodge. No, I don't know the name of this piece of equipment that they have here in the studio. Westwood One national organization. We got a banner here in the hotel room, and I believe the piece of equipment that I have sitting next to me is called a cradle point. Never heard that word in my life.
I haven't either.
Those words together, a cradle point. It sounds like a 90s action movie. Like it's starring Keanu Reeves and Nick Cage cradle point. We got to meet at the cradle point. You know, that's what I'm hooked up with here. The cradle point. A lot of big words being used. Rigmarole. God, I can't say it. Rigmarole.
Rigmarole.
And cradle point. That's what we got here. It's a big-time operation that we have. Hey, can we hand out a bet real quick? Let's do our bets. Graham's gambling for Monday night's national title game.
It's time for Graham's Gambling. Let's make some money.
Okay. Will, I'm going to bet UConn plus 7.5. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize. Ow. The over-under is 144.5. Just interested in what that means. Where do you set the team total for Michigan? Considering Michigan has has exceeded 90 points in every game so far. And then what do you do with that team total relative to what you do with UConn? I don't see team totals posted courtesy of our friends at DraftKings. I don't see it just yet. But that sounds like it might be a difficult task to try to set that number. But do you like where we're at? Do you like where our head's at going with the underdog plus 7.5?
Nah, I'm leaning Michigan.
The points, man. Oh, I see them now. So DraftKings has the team totals. 75.5 for Michigan. 68.5 for UConn. I mean, if you like Michigan, go over 75.5 and knock yourself out. I'm going to stay away from those numbers completely and just take UConn plus the points. That's what I'm going to do. Take UConn plus the 7.5. That's the move, and this is coming from a guy that went 2-0 on Saturday at the Final Four. So that's been Graham's Gambling for this show. Handing out just one bet. We're going to keep it simple. I thought for a second they'd set that Michigan number a little too high and thus wouldn't know what to do with it. I'm a little tempted. I think Michigan's going to win the game. I do. I think UConn's going to hang. Maybe the play is just to go under UConn 69.5 points. Only because they could still win the basketball game / cover that number by being under that number. So that might actually be the move we look at. Was just in the locker room for UConn. Just heard from Dusty May. Heard from Cam Boozer, too, out at Lucas Oil Stadium. You'll hear what they had to say live at the Final Four next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
Live in Indianapolis, a couple blocks away from Lucas Oil Stadium, the site of Monday night's national championship game. It is the Josh Graham Show. Today, we heard from a lot of the participants, and one not a participant in this Final Four at all that we dive right into. Let's start with the head Husky, Dan Hurley, who has a giant in front of him, that being Michigan. Michigan, who's favored by 7.5 points. Michigan, that's blown out everybody in its sights, including Arizona, that we thought was going to be a classic last night. So I just had to ask him about the process of scouting on such a quick turnaround with all that's at stake in a title game, this Michigan team.
A lot of adjectives have been used to describe how Michigan's look. You've said dominant, scary seems to be a popular one in the last 5 games. In scouting them, what aspects specifically do you find most worrisome?
I mean, the size obviously jumps out at you. You're wondering how it's all going to work, and then, just playing that bigger, just how big they are at the 3, 4, and 5. Like, is that, is there going to be enough spacing on the court offensively for such a huge athletic group? And they've just been just dominant, just scary with the size, scary with the rebounding. I mean, it was a beautifully constructed roster that dominates the glass, dominates defensively. They just put so much pressure on your paint at both ends of the court.
A beautifully constructed roster. Dan Hurley speaking about Michigan. He then later talked about the beauty of Dusty May. He said that he thought Dusty May was 40 or 41 years old. He was surprised to learn Dusty was 49. Is my Dan Hurley impressive worth a damn at all? If I said, yeah, he's like, thought he was 40 or 41. Turns out he's 49. He's just got a beautiful head of hair. Beautiful head of hair.
It's got some work to do, but you're on the right track with
Great
the way
skin.
he just lowers.
Great
He
skin.
mellows out.
He's got great skin and a great head of hair. 49. I thought he was 40, 41. And then Dusty May, right after that, steps to his press conference today, and he says, I was hearing that something about Dan Hurley saying that I had beautiful hair and skin. And he says, well, when you have a raspy voice like I do and the lack of height or vertical jump, God has to give me something, is what Dusty May said to that. Happy Easter, by the way, to those celebrating today. Happy Easter to all. So that was the Dan Hurley piece. He later referred to Michigan's bigs as being monsters. There were 3. Was checking with Mark Verado, who is the tremendous moderator at the Final Four, to confirm this fact. He said there were at least 2, probably 3 Space Jam references during press conferences today. Original Space Jam, Will, not the LeBron version, which I'm sure you're fond of.
I like it.
I
But
didn't
figured you were
have
talking
it.
about the OG.
I didn't have the stomach for it. I felt too much guilt to go into the Arizona locker room where Bryce James was sitting by himself and talk to him after the game. I didn't do it. I didn't want to be that guy. I had never met Bryce James.
Luka gonna come back for the playoffs?
Hey, is LeBron, is your dad going to force a team to draft you too?
He's going back to Cleveland?
Can I wear the goggles? Didn't do it. Didn't have it in me. Season just came to an end. Gonna leave him alone. So let's get to the player I did catch up with after the game. Braylon Mullins has been the story of this tournament. He hit one of the more iconic March Madness shots you will ever see to beat Duke a week ago today, bringing UConn back from 19 down, sending UConn to his home city. Usually we hear that shooters, specifically, who've never played in a football stadium or been to the Final Four, they struggle a little bit. Take some adjusting to. Ask Arizona, who had some problems. Not Braylon Mullins. Hit the most important shot yesterday. I asked him about it after the game. Here's how that sounded.
Confidence. We've seen Jalen, we've seen Solo and others be on this stage before. Where does your confidence come from being on this stage for the first time?
I'll be honest with you, I have no clue. I think just going into every game with the confidence, I think that just helps me personally. But I definitely had the nerves in the beginning of the game. So just trying to find it out, figure it out.
today, so that was after the game in the locker room. They looked a lot like Duke in the second half of that game. They were up double digits on Illinois. Illinois is coming all the way back. UConn had missed 10 of 12 shots. Dan Hurley was being a bit conservative. At one point, Solo Ball, who we later learned injured his foot, had a foot sprain early on in the game, is the only starter out on the court with about 12 minutes to go. And that's when UConn started to miss shots. And then Illinois went on the run. And the player that killed the run was Braylon Mullins. And this might not have been, Will, you're the one that watched it on the telecast. I was sitting courtside right behind Ian, Raftery, and Grant Hill. Did any of them make the connection? Was it talked about at all? Was it thought of at all that one of the clinching plays of this game to spread it out at the end was Braylon Mullins, of all players, catching a ball at a similar spot as Caden Boozer did, and he had two players trap him, but rather than go up, throw it, and turn it over, he stayed strong with the ball and passed it to Silas Demery, who ended up getting fouled and hitting the foul shots. Like, did anybody make that connection at all in watching? Because that's what I thought of immediately.
See, I actually had my sound off at the time, so I can't say for sure. I hope they did, because that's an excellent point. But my mute on my TV was on at the time. I must be honest.
It got quiet real quick after that because Illinois brought a lot of fans to the game. A lot of tickets available for Monday night that I think a school that's less than 4 hours away from Ann Arbor, Michigan might be napping up between now and tomorrow night. Just to guess, that's going to be a very Michigan-friendly crowd in Indianapolis for the championship game. But Braylon Mullins, he's the hometown kid. And I asked him today how many tickets he had to account for friends and family. And he said maybe like 30-something. He might get some more for the championship game. I said, do people asking for tickets go straight to the point? Or are they like, hey, man, what's happening? How you doing? So, I don't have anything going on Monday. You got any extra tickets? How does that work? And asking Braylon Mullins for tickets. That was a curiosity of mine. It's not just Yaxel Lindeborg's injury that we're keeping an eye on. Dusty May did say all the imaging came back clean at the shoot-around and availability today. He did say that Yaxel, when he returned for the second half, looked a lot like a 38-year-old at the YMCA. Can confirm that's what he looked like. Solo Ball's a new injury. We learned about that today. Dan Hurley was like, well, since you guys are going to see him today in the boot, I figured I might as well just tell you. Solo Ball, he sprained his foot.
It's almost like you're overdoing the accent just a little bit. A little too much accent. A little too much Godfather in there.
You know, it could get real bad when we play on Monday night. You know, they're really good. They're a really good team. I wear the same suit to every game. Suit's in bad shape. You know, the pants are fine. It's okay.
It needs some tweaking.
Our fans are real jerks. They're brutal.
There you go. That's better.
Yeah, thank you. Working on it. Here was Solo Ball. Because apparently Dan Hurley learned of Solo Ball's injury by seeing Solo Ball in a boot. He wasn't told by the medical staff first. He saw Solo in a boot. So I asked how that exchange went to Solo Ball today, and here's how that sounded.
We met before we broke to go to sleep, and he just looked at me in the front row. He's like, "Oh, you gotta put it on." Like, basically, that's all it really was. But yeah, I mean, it's the same message. I'm just listening to medical staff prepare for tomorrow the same way. Just gonna listen to them. I know they got the best knowledge.
I imagine he was concerned. So what do you tell him in that moment?
Oh, I told him what you see now is not what you're gonna see in a day and a half. That's exactly what I told him.
It better not be what I see right now, what I see in a day and a half. because you better not be in a boat on Monday night, or else we're going to be toast. I like toast. A bagel, probably better than some toast. 310-840-4910. Just how atrocious is this accent? Am I butchering this?
It's just got a
Maybe
little too much accent to it.
As a
A little
cleanser.
too Jersey.
Can you re-hit, Justin, me talking to Hurley earlier today just to see, just use that again as like a guide to help me. Let's see if we can re-rack that real quickly. It's from earlier today.
Where does your confidence come from being on this stage for the first time?
Oh, that's Braylon Mullins. Dan Hurley. It was his presser.
A lot of adjectives
By the way,
have been used
here we
to
go.
describe how Michigan's look. You've said dominant. Scary seems to be a popular one in the last 5 games. In scouting them, what aspects specifically do you find most worrisome?
I mean, the size obviously jumps out at you. You're wondering how it's all going to work, and then just playing that bigger, just how big they are at the 3, 4, and 5. Like, is that, is there going to be enough spacing on the court offensively for such a huge athletic group? And they've just been just dominant, just scary with the size, scary with the rebounding.
Yeah, it's just they could be really scary. Like, if I'm walking in downtown Indianapolis and I go in an alleyway and I see Mark Sanchez, I just think it's scary. It's a scary sight, You don't know what's going to happen. Downtown Indianapolis.
That's a little better there. You're tweaking it just a little bit at a time.
I was on a walk this morning, grabbing some coffee, and someone said, a block away, that way, Sanchez. Like, I'm not going to go over there. That happened this morning.
Don't do that.
Don't ask me about Mark Sanchez. I don't have any thoughts. Don't have any thoughts on Mark Sanchez. There's nothing I got to say about that. You know what? We should probably move this thing along. Let's get to Cam Boozer. Cam Boozer did meet with the media today, and he won the National Player of the Year. That's why he was here. And John Shire joined our show exclusively during this week, and he said he was collecting hardware too, the NABC Coach of the Year, and he said that it was one of those things he felt obligated to do to celebrate his team, but also that loss was so difficult he hasn't gone back and watched at that point on Thursday and talking to him how the game ended. Didn't watch that sequence. So with that in mind, here was Cam Boozer and yours truly earlier.
We were talking with John Shire the other day, and he said, I don't really want to be here after what happened last week, but he wanted to show face because he was proud of what you guys accomplished. Just how difficult is it for you to be here? What's going through your mind as you collect that hardware?
I can't say all the feelings I'm feeling right now to be here, but it's definitely unpleasant, especially knowing that we should be here. We could definitely be playing the game tomorrow, competing for a national championship, which was, one of our team's biggest goals going to the year. So it's a lot of emotions going into it. Yeah, it's definitely tough being here for sure.
What do you mean you're supposed to be here? If you're here, that means we're not here. And we made the plays when it mattered most, because that's what champions do at UConn. Yeah. Will Dalton.
Yeah. You might be wearing it out.
We're running the course. Okay, it's run its course. That's enough. You know what else is deeply unpleasant? This impression that you're trying to do here, Mr. Boozer. Just one more thing. Just one more thing,
Yeah.
and then we'll throw it away.
Please.
Unless 310-840-4910. Is this what the voice of conspiracy Josh should be? Hypothetically? Listen here. Bill Self's statement tells us nothing. Bill Self's going to be back, or he's going to retire by the end of I don't know if that's where we should
There's
go.
a little Bernie Sanders in there. If I'm being completely honest. Just being hot as it is.
The one more thing I needed to do. This was sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance. They protect small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today, progressivecommercial.com. What exactly happens with these basketball games tomorrow? What is the rooting interest of the majority of the basketball public? That is next on the Josh Graham Show.
The national championship game tips tomorrow night, and we're taking you inside the game from Indianapolis. Exclusive interviews, on-site insight, everything building toward tip-off, covering the Final Four like no one else can. From your home of the NCAA tournament, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
That's right. It's the last call for phone calls at 310-840-4910 if you want in. Two big questions we're asking. Well, there are some controversial opinions that we've had that, frankly, don't think they're all that controversial. Even though we're in Indianapolis, North Carolina's the hoop state. You can just call and tell us how you agree with that fact. Don't think anybody would refute it. 310-840-4910. One Shining Moment's mid. Think most people get that. Think that most people understand the reason people like that song. It's about nostalgia more than it's about the quality of the song. Nobody's really firing up One Shining Moment in any other context than the first Monday of April. 310-840-4910 if you want in on that. And lastly, are you rooting for UConn because they're the underdog, or are you rooting against them because of the polarizing head coach Dan Hurley? What is your rooting interest for this national championship tomorrow night? If UConn beats Michigan, it will be and should be viewed as an all-time NCAA tournament upset. The Wolverines opened up as a 7.5-point favorite. 7.5 points. That matches the largest point spread for a national championship game this century. Fittingly, the last time we saw it was UConn, favored by that same number against San Diego State a few years back. Before that, Duke, Butler. That was the 2010 national championship. North Carolina, Michigan State, 2009. The favorites won all three of those, covered in two of the three instances. Only two underdogs of 4 points or more have won since 2000. Two. That is Syracuse over Kansas, 2003. Roy Williams' last game with the Jayhawks. Jim Boeheim cutting down nets with Carmelo Anthony. Baylor over Gonzaga, right here in Indianapolis. The last time the Final Four was here 5 years ago. As the Huskies seek their 7th national championship since 1999, they should draw inspiration from the first championship squad in Stores. Since this tournament expanded to 64 teams way back in 1985, that UConn win over Duke, it's the largest upset by point spread that we've seen on National Championship Monday. We have not seen an upset greater than that since 1985. The Blue Devils closed as a 9.5-point favorite. That Blue Devil team was seen to be unstoppable. Many feel that's the greatest basketball team to not win a national championship. A lot like Duke in 1999, Michigan kind of is playing like an all-time juggernaut. 3 losses all year long. First team to score 90 and win by double figures in all 5 of their tournament games so far. That's crazy levels of dominance, especially considering they came from the Big Ten. Big Ten's had a good year, really good tournament run. There is a clear path for UConn to pull off the upset, though, despite that massive point spread. It starts with how Yaxel Lindebor looks. There's little doubt he's going to play, but how does he look when he plays? There wasn't much encouraging to talk about in his second half outing. And when he went out there, Dusty May today said it best. He looked like a 38-year-old at the Y. They, being UConn, absolutely, positively cannot afford to have Terrace Reed get in foul trouble. Cannot afford to have it. A former Michigan Wolverine, by the way, at the start of his career. He'll finish his college career by facing Michigan. They're going to have to hit outside shots. They did not do that against Duke. Still found a way, rallying back from 19 down. Missed, 17 of their first 18 three-point attempts. Illinois, they hit 12 threes. They hit 12 at the Final Four. Only missed 2 free throws. That's a good recipe. So there is a recipe for the team that's won 2 of the last 3 national championships. 310-840-4910 if you want in on the program. Last call. 4 phone calls. Let's go to Billy Ray, who's in California. What is your rooting interest? Does Dan Hurley make you want to root against the Huskies, or is the fact that they're such a big underdog make you think, yeah, let's root for the underdog here?
I appreciate your question and your service to the radio. But let me explain something, man. I went to the University of Michigan, so I'm going to root for them no matter what. Now, check it, please. Listen up, blood. Let me ask you something.
Please.
Tell me what's the one adjustment you think Michigan has to make that does not show up in the box score tomorrow, but could decide the game?
Are you talking about how if Michigan decides to switch on defense that UConn probably won't be able to get buckets in the half court? I don't think that's what you're thinking.
I was just asking a question.
That is a question. I got it. Anything else, Billy? Billy Ray?
No, my friend. I just look, man.
You're just asking the question. I got it. I appreciate it. Thanks, Billy Ray. Because I do think I'm leaning Michigan to win the game. I think I am. But the problem, Will, where the path for UConn to pull off the upset falls apart, it disintegrates for me, is I don't know when UConn dribbles the ball up and they're working out of the half-court offense, where do they go where you feel good about them scoring? Who's the guy they give the ball to? You're like, whoa, that's going in. Hey, you're not stopping him. Terrace Reed's the closest thing to it. But given
that's where I was gonna go.
How freaking big Michigan is, I don't feel that way. It almost feels like Alex Karaban needs to have a big game and somebody needs to go nuts from 3. Because if Karaban's playing well, then there's some high-low stuff you could do with Reed. This doesn't feel like the game where Terrace Reed is going to be able to carry you if he's not getting a lot of help. So you need Karaban in his final college game to bring it. And you need somebody, whether it's Mullins or Solo Ball, to go nuts from 3. This might be the last caller we get to. Let's go to Carter from the Bronx. You have to think that One Shining Moment's mid, right?
Hey, bada bing, bada boom. No, absolutely not. I'm a huge One Shining Moment guy. It gives me the warm and fuzzies. I feel like I'm floating on a cloud when I listen to that song. It replaces drugs in my mind.
Ah. What type of drug experience does it simulate listening to Luther Vandross?
Hey, let's keep it appropriate. Mostly
we will.
The fungus type. That's how I can.
I got it.
That's how I can best relate it.
I understand. Carter from the Bronx. Anything else?
Yes, a couple things really quick. Dan Hurley, I love a good villain story. I hope he goes out there and slings dong on all the haters. Secondly, Joshy, was the Easter Bunny good to you this year? And secondly, are you a Peeps guy? I really hope you're not, but I just got to ask, do you like Peeps?
Peeps. Why does that sound familiar? Peeps. Help me out here.
Know what Peeps are?
I went to sleep at 4 a.m. this morning. I have not been to bed before 4 a.m. the last 4 nights. We sleep in May. I don't know what pizza is at the moment, and I have a feeling this is going to get clipped, and I'm going to be made fun of for this.
It's the marshmallow candies. The little yellow guys. Pink. Yeah. They're disgusting.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, I think maybe we're aligned on that. I'm not a big marshmallow guy. Thank you, Carter from the Bronx. It's good to hear from you. I don't know how we feel about the expression sling dong on the air. Don't know.
Yeah, it's a little
exactly,
dicey.
Right? I
Love
love
the
how he
Bronx.
started the entire commentary by, we're going to keep this appropriate, and then that's where we end up at some point in the conversation. Funny enough, got this message in describing One Shining Moment. It sounds like the type of song, quote, you would listen to when you're walking into the woods with your significant other. One Shining Moment. I don't even know what to do with that. Listen
I don't
here,
either.
Listen here, baby. Hey, baby. Gonna fire up One Shining Moment. Let's go build a fort.
Nah, that's not a good song for that.
Hey, baby. Get some of those sticks. We'll start a campfire over here. Let's go to Cheryl. 310-840-4910. What do you have on One Shining Moment, Cheryl? Cheryl? You're on with us. What do you have?
The caller earlier about One Shining Moment. That was the first time it was played. I was there at that game.
Indiana, you were at the Indiana State, Michigan State game that Will Dalton, see if you can look up how many people watch this game. I think it's still the most watched college basketball game of all time. But you were at that game. What was it like?
I thought you were referring to the Indiana-Syracuse game in '87.
I am. Oh, you're talking about the start of One Shining Moment. I thought you were talking about the previous caller referring to the Indiana State-Michigan game. Okay, so you were there the first national championship that they played One Shining Moment when Syracuse played in '87. That's what you're talking about.
Yep, and Keith Smart won. Made the final shot to win, and I'm from Syracuse. Our Derek Coleman missed a shot. So
are you a fan of One Shining Moment, though?
I'm not anymore, no.
Okay, got it. But you're a Syracuse fan, right?
I'm from Syracuse, yes.
Yeah. Well, so how fitting is this? In '87, when they first played One Shining Moment, Teddy Pendergrass, it was him at first, Syracuse loses in the game. When they introduced Luther Vandross, 2003, Syracuse wins the national championship against Kansas. So that should sway you back, right?
There was a Carmelo Anthony year, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, we love him. We love our
makes
guys.
sense. Well, be nice to Jerry McNamara. Have a great time. Appreciate the call, Cheryl. Good to hear from you. Parting thoughts on the national championship game. We were asking whether or not this is the greatest Michigan team ever. If they win tomorrow night, they are. They just have to be. Like, really, what is the argument against? Well, what team are you going to put up against them? Like, they've won one national championship ever. It was 1989. With respect, that Glenn Rice was the dude. He averaged 25 a game for that team. Other than that, not the most star power. Certainly not the star power you had on the 5-5 teams, but the Fat 5 teams, they were national runner-ups. They ran up against Tobacco Road, lost to Duke, and then lost to North Carolina in the championship game. Tomorrow is going to mark the Wolverines' 5th title game appearance since the '89 title. 2013, you had Trey Burke falling short against Louisville in 2013, as did Jordan Poole and Mo Wagner against Villanova in 2018. The 2026 Wolverines, they're just at a different level than the '89 squad. This team, after losing just 3 times the entire year, just became the first team, as we mentioned earlier, to, in the tournament, score 90 points or more in their first 5 games and win all 5 by double figures. Their average win is by slightly more than 20 points per win right now. Juxtapose that with 89, which lost 7 times. Also, 5 of their 6 tourney wins were decided by single digits, including in the championship game against PJ Carlissimo and Seton Hall. They won by 1 point. Nothing is scarier than what we've seen from Michigan in this tournament in modern history for college basketball, this decade certainly. And it isn't just Michigan basketball history that's at stake here. UConn could win 3 out of 4, which is something that hasn't happened since the 7 in a row for UCLA in the late 60s and early 70s. The Big Ten hasn't won a national title since the year 2000, so more than a quarter century. That streak could end tomorrow night. So history's guaranteed, and we can't wait to be part of it at Westwood One, where, of course, we're carrying the broadcast. Kevin Kugler on the call with Robbie Hummel and PJ Carlissimo, Andy Katz and others who are helping us out with the broadcast too from Indianapolis. I'll be here, and we'll be on with Linnell Willingham shortly after the game ends on Westwood One Sports Night on Monday night. We are here in Indianapolis getting set for this championship game. Make sure, if you haven't already, you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and to our podcast. Search The Drive with Josh Graham, or part of The Drive with Josh. Westwood One Sports Night. You find the feed. Will Dalton's laughing at me. He knows why. Westwood One Sports Night, YouTube, and then at Josh Graham Show. The podcast channel, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You search Westwood One Sports Night. Appreciate you and all the support of the program. What do we have to close things out? Putting it to bed.
A guy got hit by a bag of this during a drug bust.
The Raiders have signed veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins. Will he start over the expected number 1 pick, Fernando Mendoza? The NFL never sleeps, and neither do we. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
Putting a bow on this program. Live from Indianapolis, a few blocks away from Lucas Oil Stadium. A congratulations to UCLA, 37-1, winning the national championship in Phoenix, taking down Dawn Staley, South Carolina Gamecocks, 79-51. Just a dominant outing when you consider all five starters in double figures for the Bruins. Heck, Dugalak off the bench had 9 points for UCLA in this game. When you get 6 players in double figures, you're probably winning the basketball game, and you're winning in convincing fashion. And it was sheer dominance by the UCLA Bruins to wrap things up for the women's season. Shout out to Ryan Ratke and Debbie Antonelli on the call over there from Phoenix, our Westwood One teammates. Just saw that the Pittsburgh Pirates swept my Baltimore Orioles today. That's fun. So much fun. Saw our new manager, Craig Albertaz, got ejected for the first time in his major league career. So we have that going for us. Outstanding. So much fun. So happy to see that. And do you want evidence? I need to apologize. This is something we need to acknowledge. I need to apologize to Carter from the Bronx because he asked me, hey, what are your thoughts on Pete's? And I heard Pete's as in P-E-T-E-S. And I don't know what you're talking about. Pete's. It's like, it's a type of candy. And I didn't connect that he wished me a happy Easter. I wonder if he has a good Dan Hurley. Yeah, Peeps candy. He was talking about the Peeps candy, the Easter candy that people eat. I hate Peeps. We all hate Peeps. Those things are awful. No one likes Peeps.
Yeah, they're not good.
You listen here. If you come in here, the UConn locker room, you try to bring some Peeps in here, I'm gonna go face to face, forehead to forehead with you as if you Roger Ayers. That's what I'm gonna do. If you try to bring some Peeps into the locker room, let's put it this way: if you eat Peeps, you can't be one of my Peeps.
I bet Dan Hurley actually likes Peeps. Watch him actually like them.
I should have asked him.
You should have. You know, and in the spirit of Easter, if you like Peeps.
There it goes. Quite a program. And again, I have the excuse that I haven't fallen asleep before 4 a.m. every night since I've been here. Since, Thursday morning, early Thursday morning. So that's the fact that might be why I heard Pete's rather than Peeps coming from Carter from the Bronx. But there's your delayed answer to that question. Make sure, if you haven't already, you're subscribed to our podcast feed, our YouTube channel. Check all that out. It was so much fun catching up with John Lund a few times last night, recapping the games. And it's a 24-hour network. We'll have more coverage later tonight, getting you set for the national championship game tomorrow night in Indianapolis. But as a rite of passage on this program, we need to close things out. And the way we close things out is by putting this show to bed. And to help us do that, here's Will Dalton.
So, in this story, police just happened to show up at the right time. Right place, right time. Because they had gotten some suspicions about drug deals happening at this particular house. So they get there, and they get to witness a drug deal happening live in front of them. And what they see is somebody, I guess, disappointed with their purchase, wanting to return it, and they witnessed a bag of cocaine being thrown and hitting the drug dealer right in the face. Yeah, got it all on body cam footage. And then the police close in, and this is when the dealer takes off running, and then they're able to intercept him a couple of blocks down the street. But yeah, they show up to try and take care of the rumors of drugs going on, and they see a return in progress happening right before their eyes.
What was it that... Oh, another thing that Carter from the Bronx said was that listening to One Shining Moment was like a drug.
It is. It soothes the soul. Makes you feel good and upbeat. I guess it is like that if you're into that sort of thing.
I don't know if tomorrow night I'm going to stick around for One Shining Moment, because apparently they all go on the stage and they listen. That might be when I go to the back.
It would be. You, just to like flex how you truly feel about this, as it's about to happen. This is your first national championship game.
I've never been to the national championship game. I always would leave after the Final Four, because when you're on locally, well, you could maybe do the show Monday, but then like the game's not till 9:30 at night. When do you leave? And it's just a logistical problem in doing that, so I'd always leave after Saturday. So tomorrow night will be my first Monday night, so we might as well, as Hello Goodbye by the Aquabats plays, make some picks for this game. We both like Michigan to win, I think.
Correct.
The real question is, do you have strong conviction about the line of 7.5 that some places has already moved to 6.5?
I don't know about strong convictions, but I do like Michigan to cover that.
I'm taking UConn plus the points.
I haven't decided if I want to go over or under the total yet.
I think the move might be UConn plus the points and under 69.5 for UConn.
I like that.
That might be the move, because here's the funny thing. UConn could win the game and score less than 69 points.
This is true.
And Michigan could win it by 30 and they won't score 69 as well. So that might be, honestly, my favorite bet for this game.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you said earlier, though. Like, if UConn's going to pull it off, like, they got to get some real shooting, and Caravan's going to have to do his thing. They can't just be Terrace Reed.
Can't be. It's the Alex
No.
Caravan game. Somebody actually brought that up to Dan today, talking about his stats, Dan Hurley, it not being great. That Alex Caravan not having played great the last few games. And then he interjected mid-question and said, that just means he's due.
I mean, yeah, it kind of does.
And maybe
I
he
get where
is.
he's coming from on that.
Where am I doing dinner tonight? Need to figure that out.
Yeah, you should.
Just got a text. Maybe Dan Hurley will be there. Yeah, how about
Maybe.
where we going? Oh,
Did I see that?
high velocity? The commission is row? Is that what we're going to eat? Sounds good.
Did I see that Joey Chestnut was hanging around down there?
Yeah, we had Joey Chestnut on Thursday's show. And
Okay.
Everybody talks about St. Elmo's. Again, I've already taken enough shots at the state of Indiana. I'll take another shot. Why not?
Oh, you're gonna call it overrated?
It's
about to do
called St. Elmo's Steakhouse. But no one talks about the steak. And there's a reason for that. That's all I'll say. That's not true. That's not all I'll say. They only talk about the damn shrimp cocktail. And how hot the cocktail sauce is.
Was it
So
hot?
I had heard about it, but I didn't have a resi to St. Elmo's. So literally, I get done with the show Wednesday night in North Carolina. 3 a.m. I get done with the show. Get on a 5:30 flight. I land here at around 9:30. Get to Radio Row at 11 a.m. And the first person I see when I walk in the doors, Joey Chestnut. He's like, hey, let's tape an interview. Okay, fine. We get it set up. They already have it set up. Our Westwood One team's great. I sit down with Joey Chestnut, and Joey Chestnut hands me, a minute into the conversation, the shrimp cocktail with shrimp cocktail sauce all over it. In this moment, I'm like the backup quarterback getting thrown into the game who has no time to think about what's happening. So I'm on air and take a big bite of it, and he loaded it with cocktail sauce. And it was hot, and then some cocktail sauce ended up on my pants that I had to wear then the rest of the day.
Oh, no.
It's a good sauce, and the shrimp's great. Steaks, But the one note I'll give about the cocktail sauce, it doesn't linger. It's not a lingering burn. That's the important part that I'll pass along. Not a lingering burn. So it burned for a second, and we were all good. We'll close it up on that note. Thanks to everyone helping make these shows possible from Indianapolis. I'll talk to you tomorrow night from the national championship game. You keep it tuned to Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.